Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss about the diagram and especially the flow chart. Now flow chart comes under the category of a diagram. This is a diagram. Now if you can clearly see that there are some arrows that point towards a certain direction, and using common sense we can see that this is the starting of this flow chart, because this is the heading. The flow chart shows the recycling of paper. So first the waste paper is collected, it is sorted by hand, then it is transported to the mill, then the cleaning happens, and then the ink is removed, and in the end you get a usable paper. So there are 6 different steps through which a waste paper is converted into a usable paper. So now in the previous videos, especially in the video number 1 and video number 3, in which we discussed the pie chart as well as the line graph respectively. So in those videos I had told you to make 4 paragraphs: the introduction, the overview, then the main paragraph, and in the end the closing. But when it comes to the diagrams, I always believe that there is no requirement of overview, because if you write the overview for the diagram, you'll see that you'll repeat a lot of things in that. So there's no point of making repetition of the ideas. So this paragraph is pretty simple. In this kind of a task, you will only make 3 paragraphs. Para number first, the introduction. Para number 2, the main para. Para number 3, closing. And always remember that your alignment will always remain on the left hand side. Keep the alignment towards the left hand side. So if you can clearly see the intro, it is pretty simple. The flow chart depicts. Now in place of shows, I've used this word, depicts. It can be used in every graph. The flow chart depicts, the line chart depicts, the pie chart depicts, the stages of. Now there are different stages, so I have added this word, the stages of how the paper is collected, and recycled to form a usable paper in several steps. So this is my introduction. As you can clearly see, maximum 22 words. So the introduction should not exceed 25 to 30 words. And most importantly, a single sentence. This is how you write a great introduction for writing task 1 of academic. Only single line. No hassles, no complications, simplicity. Okay, now the main para will start from the first stage. So first stage is about waste paper collection, and the waste paper is collected from public paper banks and from businesses. So I have used these words and paraphrased my line. I've changed the words completely, but the meaning remains the same. So it can be clearly witnessed from the flow chart that the waste paper is accumulated. So in place of collected or collection, I've written accumulated. The waste paper is accumulated in the first stage from businesses and public paper banks. Now you can clearly see I've used a connector at the start. Then means when you're moving from first stage to the second stage. And again, when you're moving from the second stage to the third stage, you must always use a connector. If you can see in this case, I've used a then, and from moving from second to third stage, I have used after that, and from third to fourth, I've used this. Look. And in closing also, I've mentioned in the last stage. So this is the importance of using these simpler words in this manner so that the examiner can feel the clarity of your task. So I have written, then the waste paper is categorized manually. So in place of sorting, I have written categorized, and in place of by hand, I have written manually. Manually means by using labor, by using force, into usable and unusable, right? So in this, I've written the waste paper is categorized. The waste paper is categorized into two categories, the usable and unsuitable. So the unsuitable paper here is removed. So in the next line, I've written the unsuitable paper is rejected in this process. So in place of removed, I've written rejected. Then coming on to the next stage, I've started like this after that. So after that, what is happening? Transportation, delivery to paper mill. So in place of delivery, I've used this word. The paper is transported to the paper mill, where now I've used a connector to connect these two stages, because the paper is going to the paper mill, where it will be cleaned and pulped. So I've written where it is washed and pulped. Then unwanted materials, look, and removal of other materials, for example staples. So I've written unwanted materials such as staples are also removed from the paper at this stage. Then moving further, again I've used this connector, moving further from this stage to this stage. Moving further, inks and glues are separated. So in place of removal, I have written separated from the paper using de-inking process. So moving further, inks and glues are separated from the paper using de-inking process. Now we are on to the last stage. So we have to mention, in the last stage, the material is fed into paper making machine. So the material that goes from the de-inking process goes into the paper making machine. So this machine produces usable paper. Now paper making machine makes a usable paper, and this is how the recycling of paper is done in 6 steps. So I've summed up the whole thing in the last paragraph in a single line, and this is how the recycling of paper is done in 6 steps. So this is how you write a flow chart like a pro. Tell me in the comment section whether you liked this video or not, and also if you have any doubts regarding any module, any question type of IELTS, you can mention in the comment section. I'll try my best to post a video regarding that, and don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon of the channel. Thank you.